Hello everyone and welcome to and we're back in American Truck Simulator. As soon as this loads, there we go. Last time we took this job, but we did not start it. Now we're going to complete it. So let's fire this up after the loading screen. And while that loads, I'll drink my nice caffeinated beverage here that absolutely has no alcohol in it. So this is a family-friendly channel. What's funny about that is none of you will know whether it does or doesn't have alcohol in it. Alright, so let's get this going. We're going back to Vernal. Check here. Destination Vernal. Yep. I remember that like it was just a few episodes ago. Only because it was. Alright. I love how this suddenly will just stop and then not move at all. Without you actually hitting the brakes to tell it to stop completely. It's like magic. Let's turn that back off. Alright, well here it is. As I'm writing this, as I'm playing this game. I don't know where that came from. But as I'm playing this game, we are currently in the middle of a blizzard here in Colorado where I live. We actually ended up with a delay at work, which because of my job in the real world meant I could actually work from home today. And yes, that does mean actual work. I don't get to slack off just because I can quote-unquote work from home. That's one of the benefits and detriments to having a tech job, since that's the kind of job I've got, is I can do it from home, so when there's snow and the building is closed, I'm still doing my job. But, you know, looking at it from their perspective, in the past, it was one of those where they still were paying us even though we weren't doing our job. So, you know, it all works out. I'd rather take the money and have to work on days where there's snow. The one downside, actually I do need to merge. I was thinking I'm getting right off, but this merge lane ends. Anyway, I was saying, the one thing about it is it's a lot of fun working from home until you actually do it. Oh, how did this speed limit suddenly drop down to 55? It just wanted to interrupt me. Let's see, I gotta move over, check the blind spot, move over. Alright, so, as I was trying to say, working from home is a lot of fun until you actually do it, and then realize that going to work and doing your job means that when you go home, you have a place to escape. When you're working from home, it's the same place you've been all day. You don't get any relief. So, sorry, I'm still fighting a bit of a cold, so I don't have a mute button on my microphone, but I will edit in post. You might hear a couple of gaps because I have to cough or sneeze, things like that. But I'll leave that one in for context, you know. This is, that's the place where all those merge lanes come to an end. Probably another definition of Connecticut when you really think about it. Don't think too hard though. Once again, having a cold is a lot of fun when you're me, because I already have an odd sense of humor. you might say it's unique, but I think it's odd because I am in awe of it. Horrible puns, all that stuff. I grew up with that. I had dad jokes before I was a dad. It's a talent. So, whew. And you know, on these long meandering types of events, these journeys that we call life, it's good to have a sense of humor. At least that's what they tell me. I haven't really seen what's so good about it, though. Alright, enough of that, though. Let me think here. So, I just started a new series with Transport Fever 2, which was a lot of fun. It's actually just uploading right now as I record this. It should be available tonight, my time. This video will come out tomorrow, so the time you hear it, it was the previous day when I recorded it. I had a lot of fun playing Transport Fever, though, and so I definitely will be jumping back into that. But I also am thinking that I really like American Truck Simulator as my first series. So what I'm going to plan on doing, just so you guys can keep in the loop, I'm going to continue doing American Truck Simulator every other day, and probably Transport Fever every other day. And then I'll throw in as kind of one-offs when I can do a recording of things like 7 billion humans. I keep wanting to say 7 billion people, but I think 7 billion humans is the name of the game. And Franchise Hockey Manager 6 will be in there as well from time to time as I can get different videos done. I'm going to switch over lanes because I don't want to be behind this slow truck when the light changes. So anyway, yeah, for at least the next couple of weeks, through probably, you know, minimal at least through mid-January at this point, I'm going to alternate every other day between American Truck Simulator and Transport Fever. So you guys can be aware of that coming forward. And then, like I said, as I get opportunities, I will include the other games that I'm still playing, because I do still play them. Even when I'm not recording, I'm usually in after I edit and everything. Oh good, I can bypass the way station. Whew. That thing surprised me when it suddenly started beeping at me. Yeah, I would have had to turn in there to get to that way station. Anyway, as I was saying, I play games even when I'm not recording them. I only do that with my original account, and you know, I play different things like Terraria and things like that that I might include in the future at some point for here. But the really long games that take a while to do, I'm not sure. I mean, American Truck Simulator is already a pretty long game, and this slowpoke in the left lane is gonna screw everybody over. Man, this is like traffic in real life right here. Like, seriously, is there even a point for this? Realism cranked to 11. Yeah, well. If I can't pass, you can't come in here. I still need to pay more attention to where I'm driving. So far, almost all of my accidents have been caused because of me just goofing around. That car's going to let me in, so that was nice of him. Thank you for programming the game that way, SCS. I think that's the name of the company that does this. Now, can you program these guys to do the speed limit? That would be Jake. Incidentally, a lot of people that I work with don't realize that being Jake with that is a real statement. I think the first person I ever heard, or actually I didn't really hear it because I read it, I believe I read it in a Stephen King novel, is where my first contact with the term Jake with that has come into play. But then you have the band like Less Than Jake, which kind of plays off of that term as well, I believe. But out here in the mountains, ooh, really quick, got some income coming in, so another extra $17.59. Thanks, Molly. I don't have viewers, but I can pretend that my drivers are giving me tips on Twitch. And I'm pretending everything else in this game. Why not that too? Anyway, that is a phrase, even though people out here in the West don't use it. It is a phrase that quote-unquote normal people will use. I don't know who's actually normal. Actually, I do. Normal is, it was answered for us in one of the Star Trek movies. I think it was Insurrection? I wouldn't put money on it. Let's see if I can pass any of these guys before this lane ends. But I believe it's whatever the movie is where Geordi LaForge gets kidnapped, and the guy who kidnaps him is like, "Don't you want to be normal?" And he goes, "What is normal?" And then he goes, "Let me put it to you this way: normal is what everyone else is, and you're not." Which, even though that was the bad guy in the movie saying it, that's got to be the best definition of normal ever given anywhere. And the fact that it's in a Star Trek movie just makes it all that much better. Oh, that looks kind of cool. Don't crash, but I love the graphics in this game. There's little things like that that just jump out, and you're like, wow, this is cool. So by this point, you can probably tell that I'm a little bit distracted today, and you're probably thinking, how's this different than any other day? And it's not. I have like 8 different trains of thought going on in my head. And so I just kind of will say whatever catches my fancy at any particular time. Shoot on down. Oh. The nice thing about being the creator of my own channel is I can do that. Oh, even slower. And the other thing is having no dignity also helps, because I will just you know, say whatever's on my mind. I don't need to filter it, don't need to censor it, because if you don't like it, I really don't care. Like I said, no dignity. I'm perfectly fine in the filth and squalor of the internet. Just sit there looking at this old Sharpie monument right over there, the historical marker. And yes, I'm fully aware I've made that joke before. Doesn't mean I'm not going to make it again. Woohoo! Even more money from Christine, almost 2,500. See, this is in a slightly more serious note now. Getting back to the game. This is why I say get drivers as quick as you can, because now the passive income is starting to roll in. And that's what we want. 45, now we can jump up to 65. Alright, so what is this job worth here? This is only 3,500, so it's not really going to give me a whole lot. I'm trying to think, I want to get about 20,000 in the bank before I get. Oh wait, you know, I already got the other loan. Yeah, I forgot. That's how I got the second driver. So I got to start working on paying down the loans. That's my next step. And the best way to do that, of course, is to do jobs and have our drivers do jobs. Let me see on here. So got 6 hours before our next mandated break for sleepy time. So after I drop this off, let's see what's going to be available as jobs from here in Vernal. And depending on what's available, slow it down. Actually, this is going to slow up here as well. Let's get back to 50. Braking while coughing means you kind of overbrake. Let's see, I'm still 20 miles away from where I want to be. It'll be interesting seeing what jobs are actually available in Vernal. Hopefully I can get something relatively close by so I can get back to Salt Lake City and clean up that achievement. That's what I really want to go for. This one should be, I believe, when I get this one for the Salt Lake City delivery achievement. It was something like a Salty, I think is the name of that one. Once I get that, then I think this is going to be the 5th delivery that I made from Salt Lake City. And I only need 8. So I'm getting close to being done. You know, kind of long and rambling on there to just talk about future plans. But, yeah, that's what we'll be up to. Like I said earlier, I mean, part of the reason why I'm going to be including American Truck Simulator as part of the games I do every other day, you know, when I'm alternating between this and Transport Fever, is I just really like this game. It's very, very well built, and it's good when you need to relax, and I usually play it after work. Transport Fever is a lot of fun, but I can tell I'm not going to be able to relax while playing that, because I'm going to be tinkering with my lines. I'm going to be puzzling out stuff. That's the same thing with 7 Billion Humans, is you have to think, and I love doing that. But after a day of work where I've been doing tons of that and I get home, then this game is really nice because, you know, it's like I've been basically on autopilot through most of this, even while I'm talking to you right now. And yeah, I've been kind of rambling, I'll be the first to admit that. But I've also been able to drive this truck and pay attention to most of the speed limits and things like that without missing a beat going through it, without crashing into the cars in front of me even when they deserve it. Just as if I was driving a car. And, you know, I'm assuming that once I get an audience, it's probably going to be older teenagers to young adults that are going to be my primary audience. Mostly guys. That's going to be my prediction. I can go back up to 35. And probably most of you have driven at some point. I don't drive a lot in real life, but I have done quite a bit of driving over the course of the years. And it's kind of like driving a regular car. You can just get into the rhythm and you do it. And that's kind of like the same thing that happens with this game. Get into the rhythm and just do it. And then, speaking of, we got to do a U-turn here at the end of this block. It's not technically a U-turn because we're moving over, but you know what I mean. Alright, this will be a fun one to see if I can do the reversing. Even if I don't think I have a shot at completing it, I'm going to take the most difficult version, and then we'll see how long it takes to actually park, or if I have to eventually give up, which I've had to do in a couple of occasions when I couldn't quite get it to work. So let's go back into that area there. I found what gets me usually off to the best shot is to try to get as close as possible to it first. Actually, I have a fairly short trailer this trip around, so this is actually not that bad. Let's see, so we're going to go back straight, fairly straight, a little bit. Get a little bit back over towards the right side of the current screen, but not too much. And now I'm going to straighten back up a little bit. Let's see if this is a little bit too far. That's what I was afraid of, is that it would go a little bit too far. And I'm going to have to go forward. There we go. So here we go. Company Collector got 6 of 15, and Some Like It Salty 6 of 8. So I actually have 6, not 5. Did not get to another level. That's fine. Let's see what is available in the freight market here in Vernal. So, let me take a fracking tank to price, which would give us a new town and would be one of the ones that we need to do for the fracking achievement. But I think I do want to go back to Salt Lake City first, because I really want to get the Some Like It Salty first. So this would go to the Placer and Sons, and then once that's completed, I can then go from another one of these companies that I still haven't done, like Walbert. Actually, I only have 2 left, so it's the Walbert and the other Avalanche Steel that I need to do. So I'm going to select this job. It's 14 miles away, so I'm going to just drive out to it right now. And once I get to there, this recording is already over 20 minutes, so I will pause the recording at that point and pick this up 2 days from now is when the next one will be released. And yeah, so we still have, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes to get over there. So let me go ahead and do that now. And off we go into the wild blue yonder. I don't really need to start signaling that far in advance. It looks like I might have been able to go through there. Once again, have to stop and then move forward. Alright. Right when I moved it, it dropped the speed limit back down. I just realized there is some kind of critter over there. I don't know what that statue is. Looks kind of like a dinosaur, maybe? I don't know. That was kind of cool. And it looks like it's going to be to the right at the light. And now we get to wait for the light to change. There's probably a joke in there, but I can't think of one at the moment. I don't think I've been down this road even in my other game. So this might very well be the first time I've driven on this road. I probably would have remembered it if it wasn't the case, because it's slow. Now I can jump up to 55, but my goodness, that 30-mile-an-hour stretch, that was cruel. That was probably a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Pretty sure it's the Fourth Amendment. Yep, stay on the road. I definitely do not think I've ever been down into this place. It's technically 15 miles an hour. No, this is private property, so I don't know how much that actually matters. And I don't think you can get a ticket for it. I got this one is mine. So I would have had to come to this because I got that achievement. So I'm just not remembering it at all. Could be that I came out of this mine on a quick trip or something in my other game. Just don't recognize it from this angle. Alright, let's see here. Go back into this one. This one's going to be 349. One thing I want to check really quick is how much sleep time? 4.5 hours. Do I have to go back off of this and then go back on? Trigger that. One thing I just want to check really quick is when this is due, which is on Thursday, because if I have to sleep, yeah, I should still have enough time for this one. I think I'm not going to run into issues with it, so I'm going to go ahead and accept it. And from this point, I'm going to leave it here for now. And I hope you guys all have yourselves a wonderful day and a very Merry Christmas upcoming to you. Take care.